This is your host Henry. Today, I want us to look at how Flight Radar works. Flight Radar, this is a digital online global identifier for all active aircrafts in space. You can see we have almost 1 million aircrafts across the globe, and all these are moving, transporting passengers, transporting business, transporting diggings, transporting humanitarian aid, war material, all war machines, transporting crackers, transporting everything. But at the end of the day, every aircraft in space is being monitored, wherever it is. Let me challenge my fellow Africans. Look at the huge flux of airlines from the Americas towards Europe. I'm talking about flux. You want to think you want to think Europe is the destination of this world. Everyone is flying to Europe. As if everyone is going to Europe. What is so special with Europe? Let's try to zoom in. Let's try to zoom in. What is so special with Europe? Look at almost, you know, almost 3,000 airlines coming from Europe, coming from America, the Americas, to Europe. Well, when we come to the Middle East here, I think apart from Syria, Iraq, Iran, where we currently have wars, that's where we don't see any flights. I mean, the airspace has been closed. You don't cross. You dare cross, you're shut down. You can't survive. But look at the flow from South Asia towards Europe, going through the lower Middle East or the upper, Africa. We have a lot of flights moving, coming down to Japan, China, and all the way down to Australia. You know, you can see all the way down to Australia. Some are coming to Australia, others are moving out of Australia. And look at the business towards the coast. Well, Australia has a big desert. That's why we have a few of them moving here. But look at the business here. And let's compare this to Africa. This is now where things get wild on my side. Why do we have just a few, just a handful, you know, just a few planes hovering across Africa? Does it mean we don't have business in Africa? Does it mean we don't have nothing to do in Africa? The answer is no. But how prepared are we as Africa to invite or to attract foreign investment? Look at the mighty Sudan, this country, the mighty Sudan. Sudan as it is, millions of square kilometers. We don't have a single flight. And those which are around actually are not coming from Sudan. They're just moving away. This is Turkish airline. I know it's coming from Entebbe. It's coming from Dar es Salaam. It's going to Istanbul. It's just passing via Sudan, but it's not coming from Sudan. This one is also Turkish Airlines. It's coming from Nairobi to Istanbul. They are not coming from Sudan, but they are coming from other countries around. Let's look at the Sudan of Juba. There is this one, I think this is Ethiopian Airlines coming from Lagos in Nigeria. It's going to Addis Ababa. Okay. I can see there is this one here. This is also tropical. Air Kenya is coming from Juba. Well, this is very good, but it's not even their flight. I mean, this one is a private jet. It's coming from it's kind of regional, and this one is UN. Which is part of the UK United Nations, operated by Constanta Airlines, but there is nothing. This Ethiopian airline I talked about is coming from Lagos. It's going to cross. I mean, sometimes you ask ourselves, what is the problem? Let's go to Kenya. I think Kenya is rather busy. There is this one, I think it is Saudi Air Cargo. Yeah, it's Saudi Air Cargo. It's coming from Nairobi to Saudi Arabia. This one is the Air France, I guess. It's coming from Paris to Johannesburg. So you really wonder what's wrong with, for example, Uganda. We don't have any active airline. It's just this one, I think. It might even just be either it is uh, I think it's even regional. It's a private airline. I think it's coming to northern Uganda here in Pakuba, or it's going to to Juba. But you can imagine the entire airspace, 240,000 square kilometers. We don't have nothing like a moving plane. What's wrong? What's wrong, Uganda, my motherland? Okay, we have, I think, this one which is trying to jet in. Salam, I think, is coming in. And now in Tanzania, we have KQ. KQ, I think, is coming from Nairobi to Kigali. Well, this is okay. This is Rwanda, I think, is coming from London Heathrow. It might actually, it is even packed. It was coming from London Heathrow some time back. Burundi, nothing. You don't even see any plane moving in Burundi. Okay, let's go to the mighty DRC. DRC, which is almost 10 times the size of Uganda, or actually 20. You don't see any region. You don't see any airline that is theirs, but they are simply coming in. This is British Airways coming, I think, from London Heathrow to Joburg, yeah. And this is Ethiopia Airline coming from Kinshasa. It's going to Addis Ababa. You can imagine DRC with all the vast resources. Look at a handful of just a few airlines crossing or even coming in. This one, I think, is from Zurich, yeah, Switzerland. This is Swiss Airlines, and this is South Air Cargo. So it really gets wild. And the question is, what do we have to do as Africans? How do we attract? How do we attract investment in Africa? Let me come back in a second.